everybody, welcome back to my channel and Blind Anticipates. So today we have a discussion on another Jennifer L. Armentrout book that's coming out this year, Visions of Flesh and Blood. So I won't tell you much about that, but I hope you enjoy this video. But before we get started, if you enjoy my content, consider subscribing to my channel and turning on notifications. That way you're aware when I release videos, which is usually 3 to 4 times a week, so that depends. And also check out my writing if you are interested in it. So I have a blog linked in my description where you can find book reviews as well as creative non-fiction. So you can find that there, or you can pre-order my new book called Daughter of Death. This is the first volume in this fantasy series. So it is the first volume, and it is currently available on Apple, Smashwords, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. And Daughter of Death follows Vivian, who after 8 years has been discovered by the mortal realm. She is a half deity and is the daughter of a ruler of the dead and a mortal woman. And now she and her unusual family have to adjust to the new change that comes with that discovery. So that is kind of the story we're following. So if you are interested, definitely consider pre-ordering it. And if you want to read my work early, you have the chance to do so because I am currently running a pre-sale on Smashwords where you can get my book early and read it early. So if you're interested, definitely get that. The pre-sale will be available until the release date on December 26, 2023. So yeah, and if you're interested in my book, and all retailers, you can find it for 99 cents. Currently, it is not available on Amazon, but hopefully it will be there soon. I have to wait because my the place I'm using, Smashwords, currently doesn't have access to Amazon, but should soon because they were also acquired by Drafted Digital, so they should have it soon. But with all that, enjoy the video, and I'll see you on the other side for the outro. All right, here we are with another Blind Anticipates for another Jennifer L. Armentrout book in the Blood and Ash / Flesh and Fire world. So this one is called Visions of Flesh and Blood, a Blood and Ash / Flesh and Fire compendium. And I don't have much to say about this one, so I'm just going to start reading the description, and then from there, we'll just start talking. Oh, wait. If you have not watched any of my Blood and Ash and Flesh and Fire videos, I'll link the playlist below. Okay. Visions of Flesh and Blood, a Blood and Ash / Flesh and Fire compendium, is a comprehensive companion guide for background, history, reader favorite information, art, and reference materials. So I will say, due to the fact that it says art in the description, I am very concerned that there won't be an audiobook for this that I can read. Because the books are not all in Bookshare, so I sound like I can just read it like this. So I am kind of concerned that there may not be an audiobook for this. I may not be able to actually read this book, but I want to. Companion novels like this are great. I'll explain, because I love this kind of stuff. Sorry. No. England, be quiet. Thank you. Okay, thank you guys. I'm sorry. So yeah, I like this kind of stuff, and I'll explain in a minute. Okay, let's see. Combined with original short stories and scenes from some of the world's most beloved characters, as well as never-before-seen visual enticements, it's a treat for the senses. So we're going to get original stories and scenes. Are we going to get anything from... I want to see if we get any stories from Kieran. Definitely, maybe even Reaver, now that he's older. I'd love to see original stories from characters that we maybe we love them, we see them as side characters, but we would love but I think we could see stories from characters that are maybe even stories from like the Queen Iluana and her husband. I don't remember his name. Maybe we'll see stories of, I don't know. I feel like we'll see things that from characters that we like, but we don't see as often because we're mainly in Poppy's head, and I think that'll be very fun. Told from the point of view of Miss Willa herself, the compendium acts like research material, but reads like a journal and cache of personal notes, allowing the reader to revisit the characters in history they so love, yet view things in a different way. So, if you're unaware and you haven't read the book, Miss Willa is an elder in Atlantia, but she also wrote a book because we know her as Miss Willa Collins. At first, we know her as Miss Willa Collins. So she had written a book, a journal really, of all her sexual encounters, and they talk. So she Poppy first learned about Miss Willa Collins because she wrote a book with all her sexual encounters, and that's kind of how she discovered smut and was very and that's kind of how she kind of gets teased. She basically got teased a lot by Castile because she was reading smut, which was funny, but also, come on now, read smut if you like it. Y'all grown up, it's fine. Okay, Visions of Flesh and Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout with Raven Salvador is a must-add addition to the series that any Blood and Ash / Flesh and Fire fan will enjoy. So I want to add it. I want to have this, but I'm concerned that there won't be any audio for this, even though it appears like it would be a good audiobook, even though there is art. I am concerned there may not be one just because of the way that there are illustrations, and because I can't see any of the any book, not even a Soul of Ash and Blood, available for pre-order. So it does concern me, but at the same time, I don't know. I really, really, really hope there is an audiobook so I can keep it. So one of the reasons I really like this kind of books is because you get a companion to the world and you get like a kind of guidance to them. Things that maybe you don't always see in the books. You get some history that maybe you don't see in the books. And it's fun because there's only so much space in a book to build a world, you know? So you have to give the information that readers need, right? You have to give reader need to know information. So I watched a review one day for Ready Player 2. I've watched it a couple times actually. And one of the things that the reviewer mentioned, and by the way, this is Crimson Rogue. The reviewer is Crimson Rogue. I will, if I remember, I hope I do, I'll link it in the description. But he mentioned that I think it's like when he writes, he divides it into 3 columns. I think that's what he mentions. I could be wrong, and it is basically like reader need to know, which is basically everything that a reader needs to know. Flavor text, which is stuff that maybe it's not like super important, but it adds some like flavor to the world. So it could be, I guess it not necessarily culture things, but it could be like the simplest things, like the kind of music, not even the kind of music, but like the simplest things that come into the world. And then there are director's notes, which is things that you need to know or that you know, but the reader doesn't necessarily need to know. So these companions are kind of like the director's notes. And I like and enjoy this kind of stuff. And the first time I kind of learned that I really love this stuff, which is why this reminds me I need to actually go on Goodreads, not Goodreads, Bookshare, and because I don't see an audiobook for this, which is one of the reasons this concerns me, that there may not be an audiobook. So there is a book. Sarah J. Maas wrote a book called The World of Throne of Glass, I think is what it's called, The World of Throne of Glass, where it talks about the world, but I didn't get to read it. because it's not, I haven't found an audiobook of it yet. Maybe I'll have see if Bookshare can request it. I'll see if I can request it on Bookshare and see what happens. But the point is that I the first time I figured out that I kind of enjoyed this was actually when I was 14 and I was in my Divergent phase. I'm not going to talk too much about it. I think I want to do a video on it and just talk about my Divergent phase, because my Divergent phase was great. But in my Divergent phase, just know that I was very obsessed with the Divergent series. And one of the things that was out was, I think it was called The World of Divergent or something like that by Veronica Roth. And she wrote, Roth wrote the companion where it talks about the world, it talks about the factions. Each faction had their own manifesto, so she wrote out the manifestos. She wrote out, from what I remember, she wrote out like other information. And at the end, there was even a quiz where she asks you questions, and it's like, from here you can, it's like, tell me, she's like, there's a quiz. It's like, if you take this quiz, you'll figure out what faction you are most like. So it had all these really fun things, and that's why I realized I figured out I enjoyed it. So if there is an audiobook or even a way I can read it, I'll be very happy to add it to my Blood and Ash collection, because I think this stuff is really fun. And I think these companion books are really fun. I have not read any. I know that like A Song of Ice and Fire also has this stuff, but I haven't read any of them because, well, for one, A Song of Ice and Fire is not done. And I just haven't bought it. That's like one thing. And two, I don't know if I love A Song of Ice and Fire enough to learn about it, because also, I don't know if I love it enough to do that, because George R.R. Martin definitely built that world out pretty well in the books. He is really big on exposition. Some of his books are like thousands of pages long. So he is really big on exposition. So he did a lot of building, I feel. So yeah, I do think it'll be fun. It'll be enjoyable. And I think it'll be something to that'll be fun to read and add to a collection. This book will be coming out on Halloween, guys, October 31st, 2023. I will be checking Audible for Blood and Ash pre-orders and Flesh and Fire pre-orders, but I don't know. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I really, really hope there is an audiobook for this. I want to read it. And I want to have some fun, maybe even discuss it here. You know, it'll be so much fun. Like, so much fun. Let me know your thoughts on books like this or on this book in general in the comment section below, your predictions. I'd love to know what you think about this. So let me know in the comment section. I'd love to have a conversation with you in the comment section. Okay, hello everybody. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a bit of an update for you. But first, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. So here's my update about this. So I have been seeing Armentrout's newsletters because I signed up for the newsletter probably around last year so that I can get the bonus scene, the Red Pearl bonus scene from Castiel's point of view. And basically, I have noticed that when it comes to this book, there doesn't seem to be a plan to make it an audiobook so far. Like the other releases that the author has this year, so far, what are they? A Fire in the Flesh, the Fall of Wrath and Ruin. Yeah, the Fall of Wrath and Ruin, something along those lines. I'm sorry if I'm misremembering the title, but around there, that one and A Soul of Ash and Blood all have something along the lines of audio information coming soon. But this one just seems to be like it's going to be an ebook, paperback, and probably hardback, if I remember correctly. So this one doesn't have any audiobook information. I'm so disappointed. Maybe later on there will be. I don't know, but I am disappointed. I do assume that it's because it's going to be illustrated, but honestly, it's okay for me not to know the art. I honestly just need to know the journal entries, the short stories. That's really all I care about. And I think it would make a good audiobook even without these the images present. I think it's possible, but for some, I don't see anything related to audiobook information. So I guess there will be no audiobook for this. And that's sad, but I guess, you know, I can't read everything, and I guess I have to kind of get used to it. Although, honestly, books like this that have illustrations, that have art and things like that should be made accessible to people of all types of vision. To people like me who are totally blind, this book should be accessible. There is no reason for it not to be accessible. I mean, yes, this could be on Bookshare. I could request it. I could, but that will of course take months for that to be there, and there really should definitely be another way to make certain things accessible, especially books with images, because even when there are images, Bookshare cannot, like, it's not always going to be a thing. Like, Bookshare has graphic novels, for example, right? Bookshare has graphic novels, and get this, I can't read them because I can only read text and BRF files and probably text-only books in Daisy. I can't read it, and I don't think I'll be able to read it even as a Word document. But the point is that they have them, but I am not able to read it, which means that there really needs to be a better way to make all forms of literature accessible to everybody. Honestly, it is the bare minimum that authors and publishers can do. So yes, it is very disappointing that this seems like it will not have an audiobook, but I do want to use this as an example to share that if you are an author or a publisher or both, because you could be, you know, a self-published author. So if you are both, my advice as someone who is blind, completely blind, is to make your book accessible as much as you can, which is what I did with, which is what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to do with my first and my debut book, Daughter of Death. I'm trying very hard to make it accessible. I have emailed Bookshare, and I am now trying to make it into an audiobook. I cannot make it accessible for paperback and hardback at the moment because, guys, I can't see print, so it wouldn't be a good idea for me to order author copies. I just don't trust myself with that. So, but I am trying to make it at least electronically available to as many people as I can. And I think that as an author, this is a job. This is my job, I think, as an author. It is my responsibility to make it available to as many readers as I can, as much as I can, because it is important. It is very important to me, because I know that without certain services, my reading wouldn't be the same. I know that for a fact, and I know what it is like not to have certain content, or in general, content accessible to me. And it sucks, okay? It really sucks. So I do advise for authors, publishers, or both to just, when you are going to publish anything, make it as accessible as you can. Make your books available to as many readers as you can, because not all readers have access to your books. And I think it is the responsibility of authors and publishers to make it accessible to as many readers as they can. Yes, you may not be able to reach everybody, but at least you tried, and that is the point. So now that I went on a rant, I'm sorry, I needed to go on that rant. As an author myself, and a published author at that, I just feel I'm very passionate about this, which is why I'm trying very hard to make it accessible as much as possible. Yes, I want to, make something out of this. I think there's a product, but also I think that people should be able to read it. And I find reading to be important. So yes, I'm very passionate over all kinds of literature being accessible to everyone, if possible. Even at least try. It is honestly the bare minimum that authors, publishers, and both in general can do. So that is my rant. So if you enjoyed my video, consider subscribing and turning on notifications so you're aware when I release videos. Usually that's about 3 to 4 times a week. You can check out my writing because as I said, I am an author. I have a blog where you can find my book reviews and some of my creative writing. I am going to be releasing creative work once a month there, poems and creative nonfiction mainly, but you will definitely see writing from me, creative writing, at least once a month. I am going to try. That may not always be the thing, but I'm going to try. You can also pre-order my book, which is the first the first volume in the Child of Death series, called Daughter of Death. This is a fantasy series following Vivian, who after 8 years has finally been discovered by the mortal realm as a half deity. The daughter of a ruler of the dead and a mortal woman. Now she and her unusual family have to adjust to this new change. So we kind of follow all that there. If you are interested in my book, you can find it in Smashwords, Apple, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Currently, it is not on Amazon, but hopefully will be there soon. Smashwords was acquired by Draft Digital, so hopefully that they will have Amazon access soon. So be patient for that, but it should be there hopefully soon. Also, if you do want to read my book, if you want to read my book early, you can do so. I am currently running a pre-sale, only available on Smashwords, and it will be available until December 26, 2023, which is the release date for my book. If you participate in the pre-sale and you have time and it is an option for you, please consider typing out a review of the book. Reviews are very helpful to authors. I would really appreciate if you do write a review of my book if you are able to purchase it. You can find it on all retailers that I mentioned for 99 cents. The links will be in the description. So thank you very much for watching and considering buying my book. And until next time, consume stories. Bye!